Hey everyone, Lazy Ben, and welcome to a new devlog for my sci-fi gardening game. It's a new week and I plan to get off the fast travel this week. We've got a couple of jobs to do, but then after that I want to concentrate on building out the monorail system. If you don't know, I stream everything on Twitch at Lazy Ben Games, and if you can't make the Twitch streams, I upload everything on my second YouTube channel, Lazy Ben Live. So without further ado, let's get into the code, and I'm really looking forward to this week. Brand new systems. Okay, I've been coding for a couple of hours, and what I've been working on is coordinate transformation, which basically is a fancy term for I want to get things in the world to appear on the world map. And right now I've got the world map superimposed on top of the world. What I've been working on is this blue dot represents the player on the world map, and the actual animated character represents the player in the world. Because it's a 1-to-1 scale, they get rendered in exactly the same place. But eventually I want to scale this down, and I want to fit it inside this canvas here and have the rectangles scaled down. But I still want to know where things are in the world in relation to the world map. So that's what the coordinate transformation does. And to demonstrate that a little bit more, if I go into here and we can spawn Jenny, she's down here. And then when I go back into the other room, the world map is still picking up where Jenny is. So she's not getting rendered in the game world, but the world map knows where she is. And she's walking up to this trigger now, and she'll cross over into our room, and then all of a sudden the game will start rendering her. I've come up with a way now to get things that are in the real world, in the game world, onto the world map. And my next step is to scale all that down to fit it inside the fast travel world map. So I'll get on with that now and I'll report back. Okay, so it's the end of the day on Monday now, it's just before 3, and I've got done what I wanted to do. So the superimposed world map is now gone. We're back to an ordinary game world. If we run over to the fast travel station now, we can see that the actual world is being rendered inside the world map. So all these rooms do correspond to real rooms in the game, and they are linked together using these pink lines, and these are the real entry and exit points of the room. There's the blue dot, which is the hero location, same as earlier. And most importantly, the transporter rooms are in the correct locations in the world. So I can locate on map to transporter room 2 or transporter room 3. That's the real location in the world, as if the player was to walk there, and fast travel to it. And fast travel to it. So the last thing I wanted to show today was how you add a new transporter room into the fast travel system. So I'm in the fast travel system code here, and all I would do is I would add a new transporter room into this list. I should say that in the real game the transporter rooms will have more interesting names. And then in the game's editor I'll load up a room where I want the new fast travel station to be, and I'll just place a marker maybe here, and we'll make this the new fast travel station. So I'll get this new trigger to broadcast the fast travel event, and we'll set it to broadcast the fast travel event for transporter room 4 on the condition that it goes inside this trigger. And the next time we run the game, we can go over to a fast travel station, and we can see that transporter room 4 is on the list of locations. And if we locate it on the map, we can see that it's in this room that we've just placed it in, all done automatically. Furthermore, we can use it to navigate to that room. So I think basically that's all the world map done for now. It's the end of the day, so I'm going to head home, I'm going to chill out for a bit, and then tomorrow I just want to work a little bit on the fast travel system. One last job. I want to be able to have fast travel locations discoverable, so when you enter the room that the fast travel station is in, I want it to be discovered, and make sure that only discovered fast travel stations can be used by the fast travel system. Anyway, that's for tomorrow. I'm going to head home, chill out, and I'll see you then. Hey everyone, it's Tuesday now. Just got into the office. I'm a little bit late this morning. It's actually 10 to 10. I usually try and get here for 9:30 to start streaming. But the plan for today is just to work a little bit more on the fast travel system, do that last job, and then I want to move on to something new, which is going to be a monorail. So I'm going to get to work, and then I'll report back, and I'll let you know the progress that I made. Alright, so it's a couple of hours later, and I decided not to implement that last job I wanted to do on the fast travel station, which was to make the transporter room discoverable, because I really want to get onto the next thing, which is the monorail, because I'm excited about that. But I did do another little job. I just put this little icon here, which is locate hero, and then if you click on it, it just pings the map back to where the hero location is. And I think what I'll do is I'll do that last fast travel job probably either tomorrow or Thursday. I just want a little break from coding this fast travel stuff now, because it's been, I think this is day 6 that I've been working on it. So I'm going to get to work now on a new system, which is the monorail system. That'll take me through to the end of the day. It's going to be quite a big system. It might take even a couple of weeks to make this system. So it's just going to be the very beginnings today. I'll report back and I'll let you know how I get on. All right, so it's the end of the day on Tuesday now, and I've worked a little bit on the monorail system. Nothing about monorails yet, but my plan is to be able to mark locations in the editor where we want the monorail to go. And that requires some kind of curve editor, spline editor. So there isn't a spline editor in the engine at the moment. There are splines and curves, but they are used in special circumstances like creating rivers. So this is just going to be a general draw paths system. And I've hard coded this path in. So I'll click that button and I've hard coded this path in. And what I've been working on this afternoon is selecting the path, moving it around, and moving an individual point on the path. So you can see, you could imagine that I want the monorail to follow this green line. And then the last thing I did today was you press the shift key and it puts a new control point in the path. So you can start building up the path. I should say the monorail system in general is it's meant to be a really relaxed system. The idea is that you'll build gardens on the space station. And if you wanted to just travel around the space station and view all the things that you've made, you could use the monorail and it would just slowly take you around the space station. It's meant to be kind of, relaxing, chill, admire all your work type thing. So I think it's going to be a really fun system and it's going to be nice to have in the game. So it's the end of the day. It's 3 o'clock. I need to head home to pick up my kid from school. But tomorrow we're going to, we might either work on that last fast travel bit where we make fast travel stations discoverable, or we'll continue with this spline editor. You can see why I wanted to get onto it, because it's completely different from the stuff that I've been programming earlier. I've actually been programming game UIs now for maybe the last month, so this is nice. It's something different, so I'm enjoying it. So I might continue with this, I'm not sure. I'll head home and I'll think about it and we'll see what to work on next. Good morning everyone, it's Wednesday. I've just got into the office, 22 minutes past 9 now. Last night I was having a little think about how I might complete this fast travel system and make previously undiscovered fast travel stations discovered. I think actually it's not going to be very difficult to do. So I might actually do that this morning first thing, just get it out of the way. The way that I'm going to do it is I've got this on enter room function here that's called whenever the player walks into the room. And I think this would be a good place to hook in a check on the fast travel system to see if there are any fast travel stations in that room that haven't been discovered. And then I'll just fire a notification to the screen to say fast travel location discovered, and then mark it as discovered any fast travel locations that haven't previously been discovered. So yeah, I think I'll do that first thing now, and I'll report back when it's done and I'll show you a little demo. Okay, so I've been working on this problem for not long, maybe an hour, and I've implemented a decent solution, I think. So I've hooked in a new event here on room enter, and you just apply the room name. So this is just going to fire a general event, and anything that's listening to this event will just get notified when you've entered a room. And if I head over to the fast travel controlling code, we can see that we listen for this event here, and this just does some code to just check if the station is discovered, we continue, we don't do anything. Otherwise, we set it to be discovered and we fire another event, which is the announcement event, which is part of the game's HUD, and it spawns a message saying fast travel location being discovered. So I've just launched the game, and I'll give you a demo of what that looks like in the game. If we go to a room that has a fast travel station in it now, we will see we get this fast travel location discovered notification, and that's because this is a fast travel station. And if we look in the map now, there's no other ones discovered apart from Transporter Room 1. So obviously in the real game, we'll have to make sure we've got at least 2 fast travel locations discovered when we begin the game so you can actually use it. But if we go through to the next room, which also has a fast travel location in, we'll see that we've now discovered fast travel Transporter Room 4, and if we go down to Transporter Room 4, we can see that we can head back to the previously discovered fast travel room, Transporter Room 1. So yeah, it was fairly simple implementation really, just create an event and listen to it with the fast travel code and just basically turn on fast travel stations as we enter the rooms with them in. So that's it. I'm drawing a line under fast travel now. I've been working on it for too long, and we're going to move back onto the curves and the paths stuff. So that's what I'm going to get on with now. And this is going to go in the game level. The end of the day now, and I've been working on the path stuff all afternoon, and I think it's pretty much, as far as the editor is concerned, it's pretty much finished, feature complete anyway. Nothing in the game yet, just the editor. So the way it works is we have this button like before, paths mode, and if I click it, we've got a path saved here that I made before, and you can see that we can trace the flow of the path. So replace this with some cool monorail artwork. If you double click on the path now, you can get the control points for the path, move them around as before. I've changed the way that you add points into the path. If you hold down shift, you get to select a line, and then basically all you would do is you would click and then a new node would get inserted in that line. You can delete nodes by right clicking on them, and you can add them to the end just by going over towards the end node there, or to the beginning, going over to the beginning node. That's basically the path editor feature complete. I added a little bit of extra detail so you can select what type of path it is. I'm going to say monorail path, and there's 2 IDs here, and this is going to be where the monorail has come from, and this is going to be where the monorail is going, and they're currently set to the ID of this curve, because the test case for me when I build this into the game will be the monorail will follow the curve and then head back to the beginning, and then just keep looping like that. So the next stage for me is to actually compile this down into game data and load it up in the game so I can build the monorail on top of it. But it's the end of the day, so I'm gonna head home, chill out with my family tonight, and come back tomorrow and start implementing the monorail for real inside the game. Good morning everyone, just got in, it's Thursday, it's the last coding day of the week for me. My plan today is to continue working on the paths and the monorail. So yesterday we completed paths in the editor, and the first job for today is to move the data for the paths from the editor, compile them down into the game data, and then have the game be able to load paths up. That's all I'm going to do this morning, just work on that. Should be fairly straightforward, I've done it a lot of times with other types of data. So it should be a nice and easy morning, and I'll report back when I've got something to show. So I've been working for the last hour or so on getting the path from the editor into the game, and the reason that I go through this process of compiling the data down into something that will be used in the game is because it allows me to extract just the little bits of data that I need for the game and exclude anything that the editor needs. So when the player plays the game, they're not having to load in unnecessary data. So I've come up with a couple of structures. There's the world monorail path, and that is just a path exactly like the editor path really, except it only has the bare bones of what it needs for the game. And then I've got the world monorail, which is just a group of paths. So a monorail is made up of an array of monorail paths. If we pop over into the game, you can see that I've got this curve rendering in the game now. It's exactly the same as the one that was in the editor. I'll just pop over to the editor and show you that. So that's the editor version, and this is the game version. So it looks the same. The data's in the game. I can run around the level like normal. So now I can work on building the monorail on top of this path here. So I think I'm just going to start off by animating a few circles down this path, and they're going to be the cars that you can jump on in the monorail. So I'm going to get to work, and I'll report back when I've got something good to show. It's a little bit later in the afternoon. I've finished working on a cool, nice to have really. So this is the editor, and we've got this simple green path here. And what I've done is I've put these couple of buttons on here, which allows us to quickly navigate to the connecting path. So the dest path is in the other room, and that's this path. And then if we locate on this path, we can see we go back to the original path. So the monorail at the moment, this test one that I've just built anyway, the cars will travel down here, and then they will travel down here, and then they will just loop back to the starting point. And if we launch the game now, we can see the two paths, and they have cars traveling on them. So these are meant to represent the monorail cars. And I can actually control this one here. So if I hold the mouse button down, it'll stop. And then this other peachy coloured car will come along. And I've just been working on getting the cars to not bang into each other. So now, and then if I release, the peachy car will continue on his way. And the whole point behind this is that allows me to build a monorail station, and I can make sure that when cars stop at the station, other cars that come into the station don't crash into the back of it. So that's everything for this week. It's been a good week. We started off with finishing off the fast travel stuff, and then I integrated the world map inside the fast travel UI, and it was a real world map that was geometrically accurate. Then we made world map locations discoverable, and then I finally started on the monorail system, which began with implementing some paths and how to edit paths in the editor. And then finally I managed to bring the paths into the game, and we started on getting monorail cars animating along these paths. Next week, more of the same. Going to continue with the monorail system. Like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a multiple week system. It's going to be quite a big system because we've got to build out monorail stations, have the player catch the monorail, have NPCs catch the monorail as well, so they can travel around the world. So I'm really looking forward to it. If you like what you see, please give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.